Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is Robin with aka Cayman Spider. I'm going to do a setup video on the current model of the AuCar Maserati Granturismo head unit. This is gonna walk you through how so once you install this in your car, you turn it on, what do you do? So there's a lot of Apple guys out there, iPhone guys that aren't familiar with the Android system. So I'm going to kind of walk you through the basic setup of this. So absolute very first thing you need to do is connect to Wi-Fi. So just pull down the screen, and what you do, you could go into, make sure that it's green, it's on, go to settings, go to now there's two versions. You should have a network, so you just go to network there, Wi-Fi, connect, find your Wi-Fi, more settings, just make sure your Wi-Fi is on and you're connected. You could do this to your home or to your you could hotspot your phone. I do both. When in my car, I'm always hotspotting on my phone. So right now I am connected to a 5G network, so the downloads will be fairly quick. So okay, this is an Android system, a Google system. So after you're connected to Wi-Fi, the next thing you need to do is go into your apps. So you could either pull up from the bottom, or you can just push that center. And what you need to find is the Play Store. Okay, so you go into the Play Store, and you'll need to sign in with your Google account, your Gmail account. If you do not have a Gmail account, you need to create one. You could do that on your phone, your computer, whatever. Go in and just set up a Gmail account. Very simple. So I'm going to sign in. So I'm going to cut this just for a second. Okay, once you're signed in to your Google account, this will pop up. It'll ask you to accept a couple things. So here's what you need to do. This is the Google Play Store. So what you need to do is up in the right-hand corner here, it'll have your icon, I guess. So you just press that, and then you want to go to My Apps and Games. So just go into My Apps and Games. Okay, it's going to say updates. Here's the deal. You're going to have a bunch of updates. So all the apps that are pre-installed on here need updated. Okay, so you could see I have several updates. I'm not going to do these at this second right now, but all you do is hit update all, and you just sit back and let them all update. Here's all the stuff that I have installed. So let's go back out. Now, if you want to add anything, like sometimes these don't come with Google Maps installed. Some do, some don't. So what you want to do is just type in Google Maps, because I'm going to get to, you're going to want to set this. Now you could download Waze or whatever you want to. So Google Maps. It's obviously, I'm going to go ahead and update this. It'll only take a second. But you want to look for the Google Maps that has 10 billion downloads. Now this should just take a second here. I'll go ahead and pause the camera, and then we'll come back here. Okay, now that Google Maps is downloaded, we have that. So you could go ahead and just back out of it. Now you'll see these, the square, the circle, and the triangle. Now for you Android guys, you obviously know what all this is. To get out, now one thing you want to do is make sure and periodically push the square and hit clear all. That closes everything out. If you have everything running in the background, it's going to kind of bog this down. So you'll see you're going to have a Navi here, and sometimes it'll come and it'll have iGo. It'll have something else there. So radio, music, Bluetooth, video, settings, and then you could add more too and swipe them. But anyhow, And you could rearrange all these the way you want. So after you have updated your apps and everything, now you're ready to start setting stuff. Now, if you want the Navi, if you want Waze to be your Navi, then you could set it. So all you do, like right now, I have it set for Google Maps. So there's Google Maps, okay, and this triangle you just back out of. Let's see. And this is your home screen. Your circle is your home screen. So say you just long press that. Now you could do, like, I could change this to maps. So it's already to maps. I could change it to, if I had, and a lot of times, like I said, it'll come with iGo. I think that's what they use in China. So you won't want to do that. But if you have Waze, I guess I don't have Waze, but you could set Waze. You could set anything you want just by long pressing and doing that. So you just back out of that. The radio, kind of the same thing. That's going to go to your tuner. Music. Now this is where what you do is it's kind of a little more complicated. But if you want to download all your music onto a thumb drive, and then you can go to the File Explorer, you could download it to the music file, and then all your library will be in here. So you could download all your music if you would like to. Bluetooth, obviously, add your phone book. That it's pretty here you pair, you just push that to pair. You have a video button. And there's a couple things that are preloaded on here. And then obviously your main settings. So let's see, I'm not sure if you could, that just goes straight to the radio right here. Okay. So, and like I say, if you're never going to use this video, you could change it. You could, if you want to put, let's see. Say if you want to put YouTube there, you could put YouTube there. So this is fully customizable. You could change all this stuff here, and you could swipe up, and these are all your preloaded apps on here. Okay, so the next thing you want to do after you connect your phone, so it's Bluetooth. There's your Bluetooth icon up there. That's meaning your GPS is on. Let's see. We can go into the radio. You'll see here's the EQ, where you could go in and you could set all your EQ, positioning of the car, your bass boost. This is really cool. So I have mine. I think if I remember right, I have mine either 63 or 50 hertz. Now, the Maserati Granturismo has two subwoofers. There's one in the back for the coupe, and then one under the passenger footwell. So you could pull the gains up of each one of those subwoofers. You could control those independent. So it's not really front and rear. Well, I guess it is. The front one is going to be the one under your footwell, and the rear is going to be in the back. So that's kind of neat. Your zone, obviously you can move it around. You could do your sub gain frequencies here, and then you have a bass filter. I think I have mine set to like 50 hertz, something like that. But some of you audiophile guys will understand all that. So, and then it's got some preset stuff there. Obviously you got preset stuff here too. You could play with that, or you can customize it. You can go in and change your frequency. I mean, it's just insane what you could do. You could change all this stuff. So it's just way crazy customizable. Okay, so that's that. Just a quick deal on that. Okay, let's go to the settings. This is some important stuff. So now on some of the newer ones, it's going to say factory. It's going to have some different stuff here, but it's all fairly the same. So here's your network. You won't have to worry about any of that other than just connecting to your Wi-Fi. Here's your navigation. So this is another quick thing. So if you have Google Maps right now, you could hit this, and if you had Waze, you could click Waze, and you could set it as the default. Let's see. You could adjust the volume of the voice and all that. Okay, the reversing. Here's the reversing. So this is for your reverse cam, and you'll see there's all sorts of different settings here. So like when you put it into reverse, there's a mute button. It'll cut the music. You could either shut that off or shut it on. Shut it off. So we don't want the reverse mute on. So you'll see it's set to TVI 720/25. So what you want is the AHD 25 frames per second, or if you have a 1080p 25 frames per second. But usually they come with a 720/25. So this is what you want. So just ignore what I'm doing here. But any other cameras and stuff, if you have a PAL analog camera, NTSC analog camera, okay, the reverse line ruler, you could turn it on or not. Trajectory, the reversing radar, you could switch it. Mirror, so if your image is switched, you could switch it left to right. Okay, so that's just the basic reverse. So you'll need to. So if you're getting a screen that's blank and says no video, this is where you need to go to fix that. You need to change it to AHD 720/25 frames per second. Okay. Sleep mode. This is your fast boot. So basically what this means is if you get out of the car and you go in and eat supper, you come back out and you start it back up, you don't have to go through the whole boot thing. It just instantly comes on. So 2 hours of sleep, basically it draws some power to keep it awake. You can do 1 day or 3 day. I don't really recommend the 3 day. 1 day possibly. Not sleeping if you want it to boot every time. Say if you do an update, you want to go to not sleep, but I always have it on 2 hours sleep. And then you have your general. Obviously you have your language, and it should be set to English. Don't worry about the sound. Okay, the brake setting, this is kind of an important one. So if you have YouTube going on your screen and you're driving, then you need to, I believe you need to have it open, so that way otherwise it will not play any video while you're driving. So Amazon Prime, etc. Here's your reverse trajectory again. It's kind of the same thing. Now, steering wheel keys, you cannot set these. These are not settable. They're pre-select. This will not do anything. So you could play with that all you want, and it will not do anything. It will not change the CAN bus. Once again, here's the Navi application. You could set it, but there's already a shortcut to that. Let's see. Trying to get to the important stuff here. Okay, so the extra settings, you need to go into the extra settings, or on the newer ones, it'll say factory on that blue screen on the quick access. So you just go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you go in here. Now you'll want to go. Well, first thing you want to do is select radio. It comes default to China, so you'll want to set it to USA. So you get your AM radio stations, and all the stations will come correctly. It'll scan them correctly. Brake setting, I went over that. That was a deal. TV mode, don't worry about that. Trying to think anything else you need to. Radio antenna power. Now, some of the units use the green ANT wire to power the reverse cam, and some use the back. So if you're using the blue ANT power, This needs to be open. That puts power to the blue ANT. That's for the older ones. The newer ones that come out in the last few months use the brown back wire for power. That's just left hand, right. Let's see. I think that is everything. I think that's everything that I could think of right now. So, okay, front camera goes through the aux, and I'll get to that too. So you don't need to set any of that. Let's see. I think that's it. So that's one thing. So basically setting your region, that's one of the main things. So your radio works correctly. And then there's, let's see, that's where we just were. That was the general. Now we go to more. This is your Android settings. So whenever I refer, you need some help and you're asking some questions and you need to go to the Android settings, this is where you go. Okay, so some people say the time's not correct, or it won't. They set the time and then it switches back when they start the car again. So you go down to languages and time. You go to date and time, and then you'll want to go to select time zone, and then you go to region. You want to make sure your region is set to the United States. I think it comes to China, so that's what messes it all up. It reverts back to China time and stuff, because you go to the central time zone or whatever, and it'll still revert. So you want to make sure your region is set to the United States. That's another setup thing that you'll need to do. Obviously, when you're connected to the internet, it's gonna automatically do the date and time. Trying to think of anything else that in here. Not that I could think. Okay, so the next thing you need to do is go to the green car settings. Okay, so if you get this and say your trunk isn't opening, or this and that, so you want to also, it may come Celsius. You want to make sure and hit it to Fahrenheit. So you'll change your temp on your dash. Fuel consumption, obviously you want MPG US. You could do this is all the factory settings that was in your OEM radio. That's what makes this so unique, that you could set all that, you can retain all that information. So your automatic door locking, independent trunk unlocking of driver door, independent trunk. Now, if for some reason you go back and you can't open your trunk, you need to come in here and set it. I can't remember if it's on or off. One of my other videos I have all the settings set. I just can't remember off the top of my head. The parking sensors, easy entry active. That's if you unlock it, lights go on. On the newer ones, there's no day running lights. They're always on. Obviously, your trip A, trip B reset. Okay. So this is your factory. So if for some reason you can't get in your trunk, you unlock it and just the driver door unlock, not both. If you want both of them, you could set all this here. So, and like I say, I have a previous video that I show exactly how kind of the basic settings are on which one should be checked and unchecked. So that's kind of an important setup. I think that about wraps up all that stuff. Now one thing you want to do is about every other week or so, or every week, if you're running your hotspot on your phone, it's the best. This radio works the best when you're running your hotspot. Go in here and make sure and manage your updates. Make sure and go in here and update all your apps and stuff. Keep everything up to date, because some things will stop working if they're not up to date. So you need to make sure and do that. So that's the basic setup, the things you have to do when you get your radio. Now I have other videos on how to use Apple CarPlay and some other things like that. But that's the basics of this. So that way, you know, I get a lot of people, well, how do I do my navigation? How do I, it's not set, it's not here. You know, you have to, but the very first thing is you have to connect to Wi-Fi because this head unit has to update. And you have to go to the Play Store and update all the apps. That's the very first thing you do. And then you can go through and do this other simple stuff. Just to make sure your region's right, your time's going to be right, all your, you know, your mile per gallon, your temperature, all that stuff is correct. So I also kind of another thing that you'll see this suspension. Okay, so you could adjust your volume, your radio volume, brightness, all right here. But if you want to push that, you get this little floating thing. So you push that. When you push that, you go home. You can power off. So you can shut this off, so it's just a blank screen too. I think it just shows the time, and you just press it. So if you just want this blank when you're driving around at night or whatever, you can have that blank. So your home screen, and here's your volume, back, brightness, mute. So if for some reason your steering wheel controls aren't working right off the bat, don't worry, you have volume right here. Everything's right here. So, and then you know you could go if you're in an app, and it'll automatically if you go into Google Maps and you're already signed in, and said yes, okay, you're there. So you hit this hit home, goes back to home. So just make sure and go in here and close the apps from time to time. Scroll down so you don't have everything open at once. I personally don't like this. I don't use that floating thing suspension. It sometimes gets in my way, so I just leave that off. You can do a screenshot, screen saver, reset. You got all sorts of things in here, and EQ. So that's kind of your basic stuff. All right, well, I'm going to wrap this video up. If you guys have any questions, this is just kind of the quicker version of setting up your head unit when you first get it, the stuff you absolutely must have to do. If you have any questions, shoot me an email, caymanspider@gmail.com, and I will certainly answer your questions. Thanks so much.